All right, picture this. A glowing disc, just sort of hovering there in the air, controlled by, well, nothing but your own willpower. Your, superpowers. Maybe your inner Jedi right there.
Sounds like something straight out of, I don't know, Star Wars or Harry Potter, doesn't it?
Exactly. And that's kind of where we're going today. We're diving headfirst into what I've started calling the Harry Potter marketing dimension. It's this, place where magic and tech seem to blur, at least on the surface.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the focus?
So our deep dive today is all about this little gadget, the Zorbi Flying Saucer. It's from a company called Marvin's Magic.
Ah, Marvin's Magic. Okay, I know them. They do a lot of beginner magic stuff.
Right. And their claims for this Zorbi are, well, they're pretty bold. They basically invite you to believe this thing levitates, totally defying physics. No remote control, no magnets.
Just you, your mind power.
Just you channeling that inner force. It's this promise of pure, enchantment.
Sounds like a big promise for a toy.
It really is. So our mission today, we're going to unpack those claims, really pull back the curtain on the quote-unquote magic.
See how the trick is done.
Exactly. And then, maybe the most interesting part, figure out what unexpected lessons this simple toy actually holds. Because sometimes the real takeaway isn't obvious.
Makes sense. Where are we getting our info?
Our insights are coming from a really good YouTube review. It's called Zorbi Flying Saucer Review, Real Magic or Just Fishing Line, 2025, from the Savage Reviews channel.
Oh, Savage Reviews. Yeah, they don't pull punches. This should be good.
Definitely. So let's start with the basics. What do you actually get?
Okay, so for about $20, you're getting this 8-centimeter plastic disc. It's pretty lightweight, and it's got these LED lights built in.
And the marketing, as you said, really pushes this idea of like interdimensional wizardry. It builds this whole narrative.
Oh, absolutely. It's designed to hook you right in.
Yeah, the Savage Reviews source walks through the setup, and it sounds almost, I don't know, ceremonial. You peel off a battery tab, place it gently on a flat surface, give it a spin,
Yeah.
and then bam, the interdimensional wizardry begins.
Right, the spinning activates the lights.
Yeah, these flashing LEDs that change colors. They call it beautiful hypnotic light effects. And then supposedly the disc just starts floating around your hands like it's trying out for a part in Close Encounters.
Okay, yeah. I can picture the scene. It's designed to really pull you into that moment of wonder.
Completely suspend your disbelief.
And this is where, we need to bring it back down to earth a little. While the visual effect is probably quite cool, it's crucial to understand it. Like the review points out, this isn't telekinesis.
Right. No force powers included.
Sadly, no. It is fundamentally an illusion. A well-crafted one based on something called invisible thread technology.
Invisible thread. Like magicians use.
Exactly like magicians use. I mean, this technique has been fooling audiences for, well, forever, since magic shows basically began. It's a classic.
So, okay, if it's not real superpowers, how does it work? What's the actual secret sauce here?
Well, the core mechanism, it's actually quite simple, almost elegant. The Zorbi comes with this incredibly fine, nearly invisible elastic thread.
Elastic, okay.
Yeah, and the user attaches this thread pretty discreetly between their hands, or maybe like one hand at another point on their body, depending on the effect.
And the disc itself?
And the disc itself. Then, as you move your hands just subtly, the tension and movement of that thread controls the saucer's flight.
Ah, so it looks like it's floating freely, but it's actually tethered.
Precisely. It creates that very compelling illusion of levitation. It's all about manipulating that hidden thread. It's clever misdirection, really.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit more because, it might sound like, oh, this is just a thread, but the Savage Reviews source really emphasizes that the mechanics are actually clever engineering disguised as supernatural nonsense.
I love that phrasing, supernatural nonsense.
Me too. It perfectly captures it
Yeah.
right. It suggests there's real thought here, not just a cheap trick.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's way more than just, simple trickery. The design details are incredibly deliberate. They show a real understanding of illusion and, frankly, basic physics.
Like what, for example?
Well, first off, the disc itself is extremely lightweight. That's not by chance. It's essential for making the thread manipulation believable.
Because if it were heavy, the thread would have to be thicker, more visible.
Exactly. Or the movement would look jerky, unnatural. The illusion would just fall apart. So lightweight is key.
Makes sense. What else?
It also has a really carefully balanced center of gravity.
Why does that matter?
That balance is what allows for that smooth, convincing movement when you're guiding it with the thread. Without proper balance, it would wobble all over the place, Again, giving the game away.
Okay, so wait, balance.
And then there's the environment. The illusion works best. The thread is hardest to see in dim lighting.
Classic magic principle, right?
Yeah.
Control the lighting.
Textbook. And that ties directly into the LEDs.
The beautiful hypnotic light effects. So they're not just for show.
Not at all. They serve a critical purpose. Those flashing, changing lights add a huge layer of visual distraction.
This direction.
Exactly. Your eye is naturally drawn to the bright, flashing colors on the disc itself.
Making it harder to spot the almost invisible thread.
Precisely. Your brain is busy processing the lights and the movement, so it's less likely to notice the very subtle thread causing it all. It's actually a pretty smart multi-sensory approach to creating the illusion. Every piece, weight, balance, lighting, the LEDs works together.
That really is quite ingenious.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the marketing promises real magic, which is, misleading.
A bit, yeah.
But you do have to kind of admire the thought and the detailed engineering that went into making the illusion as good as it can be. It's not just junk. There's some clever design work there.
Absolutely. It shows how smart design and understanding perception can turn a simple idea into something pretty mesmerizing. It's the difference between just a trick and like a polished little performance piece.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Let's talk about the value proposition.
Yeah.
We said it's around $20.
Yep, about that.
And the Savage Reviews channel, being, well, savage, had some thoughts. They basically ask $20 for a plastic spinner with fishing line.
Ouch. Yeah, they don't mince words.
No. And they conclude that's some premium pricing for what amounts to a modernized version of tricks that cost $3 at novelty shops.
Tricks. Yeah, those little Meyer puzzle things. Okay, I see the comparison. It's a sharp critique.
It really cuts to the chase. So what's the takeaway on value?
Well, it raises that big question about perceived value versus actual cost, right?
Right.
We've acknowledged the lights are pretty cool, and apparently the thread quality is decent enough, based on what users say. But the reviewer's main point is that you're essentially paying a hefty premium for the branding, the marketing mystique, that whole inner Jedi story we talked about.
So it's not just the plastic and thread, it's the idea you're buying.
Pretty much. It's the promise of the experience, the packaging, the story. That all adds to the perceived value, even if the raw components are cheap. The reviewer suggests the price is driven more by that marketing magic than the physical object.
So that inner Jedi feeling, that promise of doing something impossible, that's what justifies the $20 for some people. It taps into that desire for wonder.
I think that's exactly it. We often pay more for a good story or for something that makes us feel a certain way, powerful maybe, or just amazed. Think about it. Phrases like inner Jedi or defying physics aren't just descriptive, they sell an identity, an escape.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's the psychology of it.
Right. And this is where clever marketing meets just enough actual ingenuity to create something that feels more valuable than its parts. The reviewer is basically saying, hey, be aware that a lot of what you're paying for here is hype. It's a neat case study in branding.
Okay, that's a really good point about the marketing angle.
Yeah.
But here's where the review takes a really unexpected turn. It gets genuinely interesting.
How so?
The reviewer suggests that the real magic happens when kids discover how it actually works.
Wait, so finding out it's a trick isn't a disappointment, that's counterintuitive.
Right. That's what's fascinating. Apparently, any initial letdown is super brief. It very quickly turns into curiosity.
Curiosity.
About how illusions work. It sparks this genuine interest in learning actual sleight of hand, understanding magic principles. It goes from, wow, magic, to, how can I do that?
So it becomes less about believing in fake magic and more about learning real magic techniques.
Exactly. The review says parents report it's a solid gateway into actual magic skills, that it actually teaches real magic principles.
That's actually kind of brilliant then, in a roundabout way.
Isn't it? It transforms from this thing promising impossible levitation into like an introductory magic lesson.
A teaching tool disguised as a toy. That's clever. Does it make it easy to learn?
Apparently so. The instructions include video tutorials, which helps a lot. And most users, especially kids, get the hang of the basic moves pretty quickly, like within an hour.
An hour? That's pretty accessible.
Yeah. And the fact that the thread is replaceable because, it's going to break eventually.
Oh, for sure. Especially with kids practicing.
Right. That suggests it's designed for practice, for learning, not just a one-time fragile effect. So for a young kid who wants to actually learn a cool levitation trick to show their friends, it delivers. It gives them a practical, learnable skill.
That fosters dexterity, timing, understanding performance. All core magic skills.
So stepping back, what does this all mean? Beyond just this one, $20 toy,
Yeah.
it feels like there's some deeper lessons here.
I think so. If you connect it to the bigger picture, it really highlights something important about how we deal with information and experiences today.
Which is?
That understanding the mechanics behind an illusion, or really any complex thing, can be way more rewarding, more empowering than just accepting the surface claim, the supernatural explanation.
So it's not about wishing for real levitation.
No, it's about learning how pros, how magicians, create those effects that look impossible. And that process, that fosters critical thinking. It encourages you to look past the flashy surface.
Get down to the underlying principles.
Exactly. It's almost like media literacy training, but the media is a flying saucer toy.
Huh. I like that. It speaks to the power of illusion, doesn't it? How smart design and good marketing can create these really compelling experiences.
Definitely. But the real lasting value for us as learners, for anyone who's curious, it comes from seeing through the illusion, grasping the principles behind it.
Yeah, it reinforces that idea that understanding how something works actually deepens your appreciation. It doesn't ruin the magic, it just changes it. Like understanding aerodynamics makes watching a plane fly more amazing, not less.
Well said. There's a real joy in that discovery, in demystifying things. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, not just being passively amazed.
And learning not to just accept grand claims, but to ask how, to look for the engineering, the method.
Yeah, and that's a skill that goes way beyond magic tricks, right? It applies everywhere. New tech, advertising, even news stories.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Our deep dive into the Zorbi Flying Saucer. It reveals this kind of paradox, doesn't it?
It really does.
On one hand, like Savage Reviews said, you could see it as overpriced fishing line with fancy LED packaging, especially if you were hoping for genuine telekinesis.
Right. If that's your expectation, you'll be disappointed.
But on the other, much more interesting hand, it's surprisingly educational. It's this gateway into understanding real magic principles, the art of illusion.
Yeah, that's the surprising twist. If you want actual levitation, look elsewhere. But if you want to learn how magicians create illusions that look impossible,
And maybe spark an interest in critical thinking, performance, how things work.
then yeah, it's actually surprisingly educational. It gives you real, tangible skills to practice.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to sort of take away from this, something to chew on. How often do we encounter things in our lives that seem, well, magical or just incredibly complex or astounding, only to find out there's a clever, maybe even simple explanation underneath it all?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
So what other superpowers might we uncover in everyday stuff or in systems around us if we took the time to understand the engineering, the principles involved, instead of just accepting the marketing hype or the surface appearance?
It's a great question. Like, what are we missing by not looking deeper?
Exactly. And what stands out to you specifically from this deep dive about the value of, seeing through the illusion?